Well, tonight, a man in Bixby tells 2 News that he still doesn't have proper water pressure. And after weeks of back and forth with the city, they say it's on him. We first introduced you to George Schaefer last month. He's 75, lives in Bixby, and says he hasn't had adequate running water since mid-July, when many neighbors in the Bixoma Lake Estates lost water service due to a problem with the city system. Now, we're told that issue has been resolved, but Schaefer says it's been nearly a month and his water woes aren't resolved. 2 News Oklahoma's Jeanette Quesada takes a deeper look at the problem.
All I just want is water.
This is 75-year-old George Schaefer's ongoing plea. Schaefer lives on a hill in southeast Tulsa County and gets his water from the city of Bixby. But he says things have changed in his home. He tells us he's struggled to get water pressure restored to his home since the water issues began in the city last month.
I just turned it on a minute ago and there's just a little bit, and that's the most we've had in weeks. I mean weeks.
Schaefer says this low water pressure means doing laundry, washing dishes, and even showering has been nearly impossible.
Now I'm going to take a shower with that. I can take a shower. I can do dishes.
Thursday, the city said water is being delivered to Schaefer's meter and that his lower than normal pressure is, quote, typical during the hot, dry period. We tried to reach out for further comment, but the city stopped responding to our calls. Schaefer went as far as hiring a plumber to measure the pressure.
And the PSIs were 19 PSIs. That ain't nothing. That's nothing. The state of Oklahoma should be running 45 to 60 PSIs, especially pushing it uphill. It needs to be at least 50 trying to come up this hill.
The owner of the home says this water fountain that sits in his front yard is usually running at full capacity, but as you can see, not one single droplet is coming out.
Schaefer says the mayor has told him he needs a lift pump to get the pressure levels back to where they were before.
If I bought a lift pump, who's paying for the lift pump? And the mayor says, not me, George, you.
Schaefer has been living there for 30 years and says he's never had to pay for a lift pump before, and says he doesn't understand why the city is asking him to pay for it now. I asked Schaefer what's next if the city doesn't fix the problem.
I have no other alternative but to turn it over to an attorney.
That's Jeanette Quesada reporting. Now tonight we check with an expert on water pressure. Wooten Plumbing tells us that standard water pressure levels should range between 40 and 60.